This is David. So I'm gonna answer via video. I apologize. I'm a little sick, but I'll do the best I can. And this is the first time I'm reading your answers, so these are my first earnest, honest responses. How did you get involved presenting this together? I'm looking for some background on how you know each other, and what led you to doing this panel together. Well, I've known Cindy for many years. I don't even remember how we met. Might have been uh, maybe in like 2009 or 10 when I came out to Austin for the International Journalism Symposium that Rosenthal puts on. But most recently, or I guess how I got involved in this, I spoke to the Knight Fellows when Cindy was a fellow there. And I was just talking about, I think, some of the same things that I always kind of have talked about, this idea that code is not benign, or all code is political, and that journalists need to own platforms, because the platforms that you create end up defining the media that you create, and so we need to take a more active role in that. And I think Cindy's been her head, and I know Trey and Katie with their work in Medium and Vox, also I think swim around the same ideas. Um, how did the four of you come up with this idea for your panel? I actually give it all the credit to Cindy, actually. And I should say, as far as how I met other people, Katie I met. She had just started working at Medium after she had graduated from, I believe, Medill, and she kind of reached out, and we had lunch and had a good conversation. She just seems like super on top of it, very sharp woman, who I hope later in life will hire me. I think very highly of her in terms of what she's doing and where she's thinking about. But in terms of the idea, at least, I didn't play any role in it. I really give the credit to Cindy. I don't know if the three of them have had conversations without me. What is about platforms and content management systems that makes them so important for media organizations to utilize? I kind of mentioned this a little earlier. you know, to the extent that the medium is the message, right? Like, choices that you make in your CMS define the type of content that you're going to produce. So this became really prominent in Circa, for example. Circa, where I was the chief content officer from basically when it launched until for 2.5, 3 years, wanted to do something different. It didn't want to produce articles, right? It wanted to produce these stories that were atomic units threaded together. Um, But in order to do that, we had to create our own CMS because almost all CMSs, at least all the ones that we could work with, had the assumption of article, right, of producing an article. So, a CMS defines the type of content. It's not, the choices that you make there end up defining what you can and can't do in terms of media further on, right? A really obvious example would be, if your CMS doesn't let you upload images, you're not going to produce content with images, right? That's a pretty confining limitation. Without giving away too much, what are some of the ways platforms can affect? I think that was. Oh wait, what is it about platforms, content management systems that make them so important for media organizations to utilize? Without giving away too much, what are some of the ways platforms can affect content distribution, participation, and competition? I mean, it's the same thing, really. Everything I just said. It's like. The CMS is basically the Constitution, right? I mean, you can alter it, but it takes a little bit of time, and it's the foundation upon which all future content can be made, right? Like, editorial decisions about words, for example, are important, but they're moot if you don't have a CMS through which you can publish, right? It really is the foundation. It's the constitution of an organization in terms of its product, I should say. It's the constitution of its product. Not necessarily its editorial content, but its product. But product is very important, right? That's the look and feel of how people interact with your content, right? In addition to the South by Southwest schedule info, is there anything you can add about what your presentation will cover? Not really. I mean, I actually am excited about it. I've never met Trey, but I have conversed with Trey online. And I think if anything, it'll be just a really good, earnest conversation among the four of us about, both what is good about that situation, and also, to me, like, what is a little alarming. Not, I wouldn't say alarming, but there's an opportunity to drop the ball, so to speak, right? I mean, um, the organization that creates platforms has power over those platforms, has power over the CMS, and I think it's important that there be organizations like Vox or Medium, etc., that have good content writing and journalism at its core, so that it instills those values into the CMS. Um, Otherwise, you cede a lot of ground. What do you think is the biggest takeaway will be for an audience member of this panel? What specific things are you hoping for people to learn? I think it's more just about the appreciation between the relationship between product and content, and how the two are somewhat indistinguishable nowadays, right? Um, if you work on editorial, you have to be thinking about product, and the CMS directly, feeds into that, and vice versa. Are there any video or web pages that you'd like me to link in any preview? I might send a link to one blog post or two that I've done. Okay, all right.